Well, I can add 2 plus 2, and I can make change for $1.
You can less than 1%.
Well, and you can throw that 70% out because in clutch situations, Nick Anderson is much better than 70% normally.
And actually, that was only the second time all season he had missed 4 free throws in a single game. Did it against the Lakers during the regular season. Kenny Smith called for the foul. You know, that piece of information was offered to each of us, Matt, and only one of us went with it. By that professional mathematician.
Still the defensive matchup to start the game for Houston. Kenny Smith on Penny Hardaway. Deep post position.
And a foul as Drexler came over to help out. Ed T. Rush with the call. And again, it's on Drexler. That's his second.
Well, Clyde timed it perfectly. As that ball was in the air, he was on his way. And I think he was surprised that the ball was out there for the taking. I think he was just coming down on a normal double team. He felt he had all ball there and wanted a jump ball situation.
But the Houston Rockets have noticed that when Shaq has the ball in the low post, he holds the ball away from his body. So their double teaming is geared to double team the body, not the extended ball, so he doesn't split the double team.
And Chucky Brown has come on for Clyde Drexler. Just picked up his second. Anderson for 3. The crowd here rooting so hard for Nick Anderson to get into it. Shaquille O'Neal with his second field goal. He has 6 points. The Rockets lead 11-8.
When Hakeem gets beat that bad for a position, he's just got to let him go.
Olajuwon picked up by Anderson. And Hakeem too strong with that shot. Anderson had a notion to break, but the Rockets able to get back. And Orlando only 3 of 13 here at the start. And a kickball ball. A new 24 for the Magic.
Well, 3 of 13, Marv, but the Rockets not taking advantage of it. They look a little bit confused offensively, expecting double teams, and they are not coming. Had a storm by the Rockets huddle during that timeout. Rudy Tomjanovich telling Hakeem, take the ball to the basket.
Well, Anthony Hardaway took it to the basket for his second field goal. The Rockets lead by 1.
Kenny Smith just not a good enough post-up defensive player.
It counts, and the foul. So Olajuwon to the line.
Basketball is all about positioning. Shaq gets the great position, works so hard to get the deep one. Little soft pass. If you zip that one in his head, he can deliver that with a lot more authority.
And then at the other end, Hakeem Olajuwon is now starting to get to the middle, and that's the one thing Brian Hill was concerned about with Shaq. Shaq wanting the challenge of guarding Hakeem, but concerned about fouls. He's already, he picked up the 1 hack earlier, now 2. He wants Shaq to turn him to the other side. Now with 2 fouls, they will probably start double teaming.
And he picked up 2 within a minute and a half. Horace Grant with his first field goal. Houston 14 and Orlando 12.
It wasn't until the second half that Houston, as the team comes right back. But the second half, they had Mario Elie guarding Hardaway and didn't allow the post up.
Horry off the steal. Went to the crossover. What a move by Robert Horry. It put Horace Grant on the floor.
Well, the crossover, I don't know if it was a wet spot or not, but it was a beautiful crossover move by Robert Horry and a terrific finish.
Here's Scott for 3. Oh, Dennis Scott missed his first 2 attempts from downtown. Able to hit there to bring the Magic within 1. Hakeem spinning his way, and that will count. It's a goaltend.
Well, the Magic not going to the double team yet. What they're trying to do is have Horace Grant pick up Hakeem Olajuwon, not necessarily in transition, but every slow time down the floor, Horace was able to get there and make the switch, but you can see how ready Shaq is to come over and help out.
How about Brian Hill staying with Shaquille here in the first quarter, although he picked up a second foul.
And that's why the switch with Grant on Olajuwon and let Shaq play Chucky Brown.
All right, Scott for 3. So the game is tied at 18.
All those open shots we saw throughout game 1 caused by the forced double teams. Now Orlando not double teaming.
Olajuwon, yes. And Akeem on fire now, 5 of 8. He has 12 points. Rockets 20. And the Magic, 18 of the shooting at both ends has picked up. 3:15 left in this opening quarter. Grant bottled up. And the call is last touch by Chucky Brown of the Rockets.
If they would go to Mario Elie early defensively against Hardaway, I don't believe they would have to double team on the automatic pattern that they're in right now.
Orlando's hit its last 5 shots. Hardaway.
That's a force.
Elie with the rebound. Here comes Smith. Kenny Smith. And Chucky Brown on the putback. Rockets lead 22-18.
And a 2-on-5 situation. All 5 Magic players were back that time, but on the Kenny Smith miss, all 5 Magic players stood flat on the floor, and Chucky Brown went after it.
Hardaway setting it up against Smith. O'Neal in deep. Illegal defense for the first time called against the Rockets. And Orlando is calling for a timeout with 2.5 to go. In this opening quarter, it's the Rockets 22 and the Magic 18. Shaquille in a discussion with the official Dan Crawford.
Oh, Kenny Smith going to get some open spaces here. A little bit surprised that he's able to get in there. And all 5 Magic players kind of back, but nobody going after the loose rebound except Chucky Brown.
Well, Pete Sampras in attendance here in game 1. In fact, gave us some assistance on the camera, Matt, as you recall. A vicious argument between Andre and Pete.
They don't look like mortal enemies to me.
But they all want to be basketball players. And how right they are.
2:32 to go in this first quarter, and the Rockets with a 22-18 advantage. Marv Albert with Matt Gukas, Bill Walton from the Orlando Arena. Shaquille O'Neal throwing a baseline turnaround
with Charles Jones on him, who had some effective minutes against Shaq, in particular late in the second quarter of game 1.
Well, Charles Jones, the 38-year-old, 11-year veteran, making his first appearance.
I'm surprised that Horace Grant, Marv, is not trying to front Akeem Olajuwon. I don't know if Houston can throw over the top to Akeem.
And Akeem has already attempted 9 shots within the first 10 minutes. Foul called on the Rockets.
The foul number is 17, Mario Elie.
Foul on Elie, that is his first.
His first in the last 2 minutes.
Now Sam Cassell checks in for the first time, replacing Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith did not score in this first quarter. Sam Cassell had a short run in game 1. Got the idea, let the officiating bother him, and also playing with a sore elbow.
Yes, but when Kenny Smith was as hot as he was, setting all those records, you would expect him to keep Sam Cassell on the bench.
Elie. And Hardaway pops it down. Stolen by Horry. Horry going right at Hardaway. And a foul is called against, let's see, Dan Crawford says stay right here. It appeared that he was calling it the other way.
20, Brian Shaw.
And Brian Shaw picks it up, his first.
Well, Robert Horry is really reading the eyes of Penny Hardaway. That's the second time he has picked him off on a cross-court pass, and that was an easy one. That hung in the air an extremely long time, and Robert Horry, very explosive going to the basket. Hardaway makes him change the shot in an inside position by Mario Elie.
The confusion of the call. Referee Dan Crawford could not believe that the guy had such great offensive position. And there he goes.
Off the alley-oop from Horry. 14 for Akeem. And the Rockets lead by 6. We come up on 1 minute to go in this first quarter. That lead pass from Shaw, poorly thrown.
So much for the fronting theory, huh?
Horry for 3. And Jeff Turner, who just checked in, on the rebound. Turner from downtown. And rebounded by Olajuwon.